So a viewer of the channel recently asked me how to watch full 90-minute games and actually learn from them. How to watch full 90-minute games the correct way. And I remember when I was a young player, I used to just watch games as a fan. Like most people, I just sort of watch games. I wouldn't really analyze what was going on. I just sort of watch and just obviously hope for the final score to be in my favour, you understand? Obviously, I was a Man City fan, so anytime Man City would play, I was just hoping, alright, cool, Man City just need to win, you understand? I was just looking out for the goals, the assists, the big highlights, the big tackles, the big saves, but I wasn't really, analysing the game, looking at the little stuff that could help me as a footballer. But as I got older, I started to look out for these things, the little things that separate semi-professional footballers from the professional footballers. And even on that pro level, what separates the good professional players to the great professional players, you understand? No matter what position you play, the way I'm going to explain to you today how to watch full 90-minute games, it applies to all positions. I'm talking striker, midfielder, if you play on the wing, if you play as a fullback, centre back, and even goalkeeper, you understand? It applies to all positions. So today I'm going to teach you how to actually watch full 90-minute games to actually learn, improve your football IQ, and just help your overall game as a footballer. So like I said, how I used to watch football was simply just a case of looking out for the main highlights and just focusing on the final score. So I could go into school the next day and then brag about whether Man City won or Man United lost or all of our Arsenal losing, Liverpool losing, you understand? Whatever game was happening last night, we were all just focused on, the main highlights, the goals, and just the final result of things. However, if you really want to improve your football IQ as a footballer through watching 90-minute games, in my opinion, the best way to do this is to simply just lock onto a player. Even if the ball's on the other side of the pitch, don't follow the ball, you understand? When you're watching the game, don't really follow the ball. Just pick a position that you play. Pick the position that you play, and whoever's playing in that position on that day, just pick one of the players who are playing on that day. Now, when you're watching the game, you want to lock into this player and just watch his movements off the ball and even on the ball. Just look at what areas he picks up. Look at the touches he takes in certain situations. If you're a defender, maybe you're a centre back who keeps getting caught on the ball. You keep getting caught on the ball trying to overplay, because obviously in the modern day, all coaches want to try and play out from the back, play through midfield, you understand? Maybe you're a centre back where maybe once or twice a game you keep getting caught on the ball in maybe dangerous situations. So you just lock onto your centre back, whoever you've picked that game to watch, to focus on. Just lock onto the centre back and just look at the positions. Okay, in which positions does he decide to play out from the back, and which positions does he decide to just ultimately just clear his line? Do you understand? Maybe you're a centre midfielder who, you as well, you keep getting caught on the ball in the middle of the park. Lock onto a midfielder. Look at the positions he takes up. Look at the things he does on and off the ball. Things like scanning, double movement, and also look what type of touches he takes in certain areas. Look for which common situations does he take one touch, where he just looks over his shoulder and he just bounces it back to the defender, you understand? Or look at the situations where, okay, cool, he's checked his shoulders and then he's allowed to turn on the back foot and then play forward and move the play forward, when he's allowed to open up, or whether it's playing forward or just switching the ball to the other side. You have to pick up on these things. Same as if you're a winger. If you're a winger, look at your pick a player and look at what the winger's doing. Look at which situations where he just keeps it simple and moves the play on, and then look in what situations he decides to really just go and take on his man. The situations where he decides to be positive and just go at his man, inside, outside, you understand? It's just these little things. Same as if you're a striker, knowing when to run in behind, knowing when to come short and help your team link up play. Just little things like that. So just lock in onto a player. Forget the ball. Don't really chase. Don't really, follow the ball whilst you're watching the game. Just lock onto that player and just see what he's doing. You understand? Just see what he's doing. And in my opinion, that's the best way you can improve your football IQ. This helps with your, like I said, decision making and even your positioning, knowing which positions to take up on the football pitch depending on your position. So you must pick up on all these things and think about, try to see, okay, cool, what things do I do similar to this player? So look at the things that you may do similar to this player, which is a good thing, obviously, because if you're doing the same things as someone who's playing at the highest level, then that's a good thing. But also, and more importantly, recognize the things that player you're watching, what he's doing, and what you need to add to your game, you understand? Just try imagine yourself on the football pitch in that situation. Would you have done what that footballer had done? You understand? Why was he able to get out of that situation easily, whereas you on a match day, you struggle to get out of those situations and you end up losing the ball, you understand? Just see what you're lacking, see what this player does, and just try to take certain things. It can even be the most tiniest things, the tiniest details. Literally what part of your foot to take the touch on. Literally, if you need just an extra look over your shoulder, whether it's the making that double movement, instead of just standing still calling for the ball, it's sort of making that double movement so you can create space between you and your defender. Just these little things make all the difference. Even just having that extra 2 milliseconds on the ball can make a difference. That could be the difference between you losing the ball and you playing an amazing pass. You looking like a very bad player and you looking like an amazing player, you understand? So you really just have to lock in to these certain things. Now, you can obviously do this with live football. You know, a live game going on right now in 2025. It can be the conference league final, the Champions League final. You can do this for all games. However, in my opinion, the best way to get your bang for your buck, pretty much, the best way to do this is to go on YouTube and type in football and just type in the full match. Just type in a full match football and just watch that 90 minutes. You don't have to watch the full 90. Maybe you can break it up, and maybe in one part of the day you want to watch the first 45, and then maybe in the evening you watch the second 45. But literally just go to YouTube, type up full match, and then boom, whatever match you want to pick, just pick that match. So for this example, I've used Andres Iniesta. So I've went on YouTube and I've typed in Barcelona versus Real Madrid, the full match. Now I'm pretty sure this was the match where Barca beat Real Madrid 4-0. I'm pretty sure Messi was injured that day as well, and Iniesta got a standing ovation from the Real Madrid fans. So I've basically just used Iniesta and basically just said to myself, yo, anytime this guy gets the ball, I'm just gonna pause it, check his surroundings quickly, and then predict what he's gonna do when he gets on the ball. And if I'm correct, if he does the thing that I predicted, I know I'm on the right tracks, you understand? I know I'm on the right tracks to the point where I can look at it and go, cool, I'm making the same sort of decisions as Iniesta, which obviously is going to result in good things on the football pitch because of the quality of player that Iniesta is, you understand? However, if he decides to do something different to what I predicted, then I can just pause again, sort of quickly check the surroundings and start asking myself questions about, okay, cool, why did he do this? Why did he decide to, you know, do this action as opposed to the one that I predicted him to do? Maybe I said that, yo, he has space to, you know, take it on the back foot, turn and drive with the football, whereas Iniesta just decided, yo, he checked his shoulders and he decided to just bounce it back to his defender. He bounced it back to his defender and he decided not to turn and play. Maybe it's because he saw, you know, he saw a certain situation where there was a player coming towards him. Maybe I missed something, you understand? Maybe I missed something and I just need to go back, sort of check his surroundings and see, okay, cool, why did he do this? And then apply the same thing to my games, you understand? Now I'll know that, okay, cool, when I'm in that situation, I need to look out for this, for that, and I need to make sure that this happens in order for me to take the ball on that back foot and turn, you understand? So even if you predict incorrectly, just keep asking yourself questions. Keep asking yourself, why did this player do this? What situation was he in? Why did he take 2 touches as opposed to 1 touch? Why did he decide to take 1 touch? Maybe he decided to play the ball long, whereas you thought he'd just play the ball short and simple. Ask yourself, why did he do that? What was he thinking? What picture, what image did he have in his mind on the football pitch, you understand? So literally just take this into consideration and just ask yourself questions. And the more you keep doing this, the more you repeatedly keep doing this, you're gonna find yourself seeing a pattern with all the top players where they always do the same things in similar positions, you understand? So a midfielder like Iniesta, Modric, Kroos, they all do similar things in certain situations. There's going to be certain areas that they take up on the football pitch where they decide, okay, cool, I have time on the ball, let me just take a few touches, find my pass and play. And then there's also going to be areas in the football pitch where they know instinctively, yo, it's a tight area, I need to, you know, play in 1 touch, I need to play in 2 touch, I don't have much time there, I can't really, you know, take my time with the ball in that area, I need to be quick, play in 1 touch, maximum 2 touches, you understand? So you get to see a pattern, you understand? You get to see a pattern, and this applies to all positions. Maybe it's a centre back, maybe you keep getting caught on the ball as a centre back. So yo, look at centre backs and look at the position that they take up. Look at the areas where, you know, perhaps they decide to play out from the back. They take their time, they have time on the ball, and they play out to their fullback. And then look at the areas of the pitch where they decide, you know what, nah, I just need to clear my lines, play simple, you know, maybe put the ball out for a throw-in and then just jog back, get into position, make sure I'm commanding all my teammates, make sure everyone's marking a man, and just simply just go from there, you understand? And obviously all the top defenders will know the certain areas, the to certain positions where they're allowed to play out from the back, and then the positions where they simply just have to clear their lines. They can't take any risks, can't take any chances, and they'll simply clear their lines. And once you actually understand these patterns, it's going to translate to your performances on the football pitch. So you, as a centre back, you will now know instinctively, okay, cool, in this situation I have to just clear the ball, or in this situation I have space, I have time to just play out from the back. Same as with a centre midfielder. There's going to be patterns, similarities with all the top midfielders, where in certain situations they can turn on the ball, take 2 or 3 touches, and then find their pass. And then there's certain situations where they literally only have one touch. They have to play in one touch. So literally, it's either a bounce back to whoever just passed it to them, or they just have to sort of check their shoulder and maybe just put the ball into an area, you understand? Just put the ball into an area, because if they do take that touch, they know, okay, cool, I'm going to get dispossessed, which is ultimately going to lead to my team being in danger and a chance for the opposition to score a goal. Whilst you're doing this exercise, take into consideration the good things and the bad things. So the good things you can take from a midfielder like Iniesta, you can look at his scanning, how he's always scanning, checking the pitch, looking for where his teammates are and where his opponents are. Also where the spaces are as well. Look for things like double movements, sort of doing that double movement to create separation between him and his opposition, so he can receive the ball and do what he needs to do on the ball, you understand? But then also take into consideration the bad things that they do, because obviously all these footballers, they're not perfect. They do make mistakes. So if they do end up making a mistake, I was watching, there was a few times where Iniesta, maybe he got dispossessed, maybe he misplaced a pass. Ask yourself, okay, cool, why did this happen? How could that have been avoidable? What could I do on the football pitch if I was in that situation? What could I have done differently in order for me to not make that same mistake, you understand? So this is just an exercise where you just imagine it's you on the football pitch, you understand? You imagine it's you on the football pitch, but also learn from the pros, learn from the good things they do, but also learn from the bad things they do. So that's the video for today. That's how you watch 90-minute games. That's how you analyze 90-minute games in order to improve your position as a footballer. If you enjoyed the video, let me know down below. Let me know what other video you want to see in the comment section as well. But yeah, that's been the vid. I've been JT, and I'm out.